Now, over to Melbourne and a focus on industrial metals. Copper prices up to a 10-month high. Zinc and nickel gaining for a fifth day and at 11-month highs. Part of it due to stockpiling in China. Some investors saying base metal prices may yet decline as that inventory building ends. Well, Peter Rudd is chairman of the Melbourne Mining Club and director of mining and resources at Balnave Capital. He's also establishing the Balnave Capital Emerging Resource Fund to invest in, you guessed it, emerging resource companies. Peter, very good day. Thanks for joining us today. Just tell me the fundamental picture here on base metals. Do you see prices coming off?
They might come off slightly, but generally, in the medium to longer term, I think they're going to continue to rise.
And rise quite a lot. I mean, do you see gains of 40, 50, doubling, trebling, that kind of level?
It's going to vary according to the particular commodity. Some I think will be relatively flat, such as aluminium. That's because of oversupply of that particular metal. But others, like copper, I can see lifts of the order of 15, 20, 30%, largely for the same reason, that there's limited supply coming on stream and stockpiles aren't all that high.
OK, now if you want a diversified mining company, there's none bigger, and some would say none better, than BHP Billiton, which now has a new chief executive, Jacques Nasser, the former Ford chief executive. Any thoughts on that appointment and what it means for the company?
He's the right man for the job. He's got international experience. He's actually born here in Melbourne, one of our northern suburbs, but has had involvement internationally, and that will hold the company in good stead, given that it's so diversified in its activities, once again based here, but with operations in a number of different centres around the world.
OK. I think he was actually born in Lebanon, but he certainly did grow up in Melbourne, and I know his sister was born in Melbourne, so he's definitely a Melbourne boy, basically bred, if not born. Tell me a little bit about some of the stocks out there you like. I mean, clearly BHP's one that you're pretty keen on. The aluminium space, you said that you don't think the metal is necessarily going to do that well, but you do like the company Alumina, yes? That's
correct, yes. It's in the business of the production of alumina, which is the feedstock for the manufacture of aluminium, and has good quality resources of bauxite that it uses to develop that, and is in an excellent position to gain from higher prices for those raw materials.
And also copper and gold. As you said, copper may do well. Gold may do well if inflation returns. Equinox Minerals is a company you've got your eye on. That mines mainly in Zambia.
That's correct, yes. And in terms of market capitalisation here on the Australian exchange, it's right up there at the order of about $1.8 billion Australian. And having no other activities, you don't get dilution the way you would through large copper producers such as BHP Billiton and Rio Tinto that have other non-copper activities.
One thing always concerns me about explorers, that is the risk, of course, they may not find what they're looking for. You like Avoca Resources, which is looking for gold. Why are you going for this one?
It's actually in production, and it has an operation south of Kalgoorlie, where the Diggers and Dealers Conference is on at the moment, and it's relatively low cost, has reasonable reserves, and once again is solely involved in that particular commodity, so it gives excellent leverage to a movement in the metal price of that particular company.
OK, and very briefly, I mentioned your emerging resource company fund. Basically, you're looking for underperforming stocks that still have potential to catch up, yes?
That's right, yes. We feel that there are a number of situations that have been overlooked and are due for upward correction in the market. And we're going to have those in the portfolio so that we can expect outperformance over time in terms of share price of those stocks.
OK, good luck. We look forward to that portfolio. We'll be tracking it here on Bloomberg. Peter, thank you very much for that. Peter Rudd of Balnave Capital.